Happy Sunday. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you are doing, you are having an amazing weekend. I don't know if you watched the presidential debate this last week, but whew, yeah, that was interesting. Anyway, you don't want to talk about politics. I know that by now. But I do want to talk to you today about the Sunday musing topic for the week, which is this. Are robotaxis really going to be for everybody? So this past week, Matej Rimac of Rimac Automobili, he of the Rimac Nevera, he unveiled a new car company or a new mobility company called Verne, named after the wonderful Jules Verne, the author. It promises us a robotaxi, which is going to hit the roads of Zagreb in Croatia in 2 years' time. And this vehicle is going to have plenty of room for luggage. It's going to have 2 seats. It's not going to have any steering control surfaces. It's going to offer level 4 autonomous driving operation. And yes, it came out of left field. I wasn't expecting it. I don't think anybody else was. It could even beat Tesla to the robotaxi market, which would be interesting for Tesla. But the more people promise these autonomous vehicles, the more people promise robotaxis, the more they talk about how revolutionary they're going to be, the more I am convinced that they will not. And that is where we are today with our Sunday musing. I want to know if you think that robotaxis really will be revolutionary and if they really will be for everyone. I know on the main channel, we regularly get people commenting about how instead of focusing on affordable cars for people, we should focus on robotaxis. And robotaxis will magically solve congestion. They will magically solve the cost of transportation. They will be lower cost than anything else we've seen to date, lower cost than buses and trains and all of that. And that everybody will want one, and that you'll just be able to, get out your phone and tap your destination in and your pickup point, and a car will silently come, or a pod will silently come and pick you up and then whisk you off to your destination. Now, I'm not saying that I have watched a lot of sci-fi. I mean, I have watched a lot of sci-fi, and I know from sci-fi that so very often autonomous robotic taxis, whether it's a Johnny Cab or whether it's a pod vehicle in a different show, they've in sci-fi, although this is science fiction, obviously, they've had a bit of a reputation for not necessarily doing what you want them to. Will Smith in iRobot, right? Autonomous vehicle misbehaving, he ends up, I think, having to take control of it manually. That was an Audi that was having a bad day. I'm not so worried about that, right? Because that's a legislative thing, that's a rules and regulations thing, that is an insurance indemnity thing. But what I am really concerned about, because I don't trust, I suppose it boils down to the fact I don't really trust tech bros. I don't trust that it will be affordable means it will be affordable, because, we've heard that before when we're talking about rideshare services, peer-to-peer rideshare services, or whatever you want to call them, things like Uber and Lyft. For a long time, we were told, oh yes, it would revolutionize transportation and it would be super affordable and it would be cheaper than a taxi and it would be cheaper than public transit and everyone would do it. And yet, that's not really what's happened. We are now seeing Uber and Lyft is heinously expensive in many parts, in many metropolitan areas. For me to take an Uber from where I live here, which is 20-30 miles west of Portland, to Portland International Airport, that would cost me pushing $100 at most times, and when rush demand pricing kicks in, much, much more. And I have friends who work for Uber and Lyft, or rather, they are independent contractors that work through those services. And they don't enjoy the process either. In fact, some of them, I think, feel quite trapped in those jobs, because once you've got into it, the costs associated with keeping your vehicle running, even if you're driving an EV, means that your profit margins are kind of small. And the way that you get paid and the way that money comes back to you means that you're always having to hustle to do it. And obviously robo-taxis and self-driving cabs or pods or whatever you want to call them, they will do away with a lot of people's jobs, but they won't do away with the demand rush pricing. Because at the end of the day, if someone is going to sell you a product or a service, they are not going to sell you it for the price that it costs you. They're going to sell it at the price that they deem it is worth. And if you are in a position of high demand, if you are in a position where there's lots of people who also want to have a robotic taxi, you can bet a large sum of money that the cost of that is going to go up, unless legislation comes in that says, okay, you cannot charge more than a set fee per mile. You cannot charge for certain destinations because that is unfair pricing. And I don't trust legislatively that will happen either. I'm going to say one thing more, and that is that it feels like these autonomous vehicle robotaxi services that are being promised are actually trying to solve something that doesn't exist, or solve a problem that doesn't really exist. Yes, we have a problem with last mile transportation, getting people to within a certain distance of where they want to go. That is an issue. And yes, taxis, traditional taxis or mini cabs can be expensive, can be problematic. They have a lot of the same issues that, Lyft and Uber now have. But a lot of those problems can be solved not by having robotic, autonomous, self-driving, whatever you want to call them, but instead by having a robust, reliable, and well-funded public transit system. As a single person, if you're traveling on mass transit, it can be scary at times, but mass transit can afford to have good security, good cameras. There are more people on the train or on the bus normally than just you. There's a driver. There's someone you can go to for help and support if something bad happens. If you are in a robotaxi and you're the only person in that vehicle, you're the only person in that vehicle. And, what do you do in the case of someone jumping out in front of the robotaxi, which will cause it to stop, with a gun? It's a hypothetical scenario that I don't feel that these companies have fully opted to propose a viable solution or workaround for. So, look, I think they're going to be great for those who can afford it. If you're wealthy, great. You can do that instead of an Uber or a Lyft. You don't have to talk to anybody. You do you. That is perfectly fine. But I think it is time for us to stop pretending that this will be the panacea of transportation, that everybody will be able to take one, that it will be easy and cheap and reliable, because at the end of the day, I think that someone will be wealthy and want to make more money from these services, and their shareholders will want you to pay more if you are wanting to travel at a time of day when resources are in short supply. And we could just solve that all by investing more in decent public transit, especially since most people live in urban areas. Most people don't live out in the country. I know I do, but I'm an outlier, right? And I can afford to drive myself somewhere where there is public transit. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. And if you are celebrating July 4th this week, I hope you have a good one. Happy Kicking Out the Brits Day. If you are in the UK and you are voting this week, again, please make a smart choice. I'll see you next week. And until next time, keep evolving. Thanks for joining me today. And if you've got thoughts, make sure you leave them below in our Discord chat room, or you can reach out to us on Mastodon. Thanks to the amazing list of people scrolling by on your screen right now. They are some of the more than 1,500 people who help fund this channel through Patreon and YouTube. They help cover our bills, pay our team, and they make sure that we can remain 100% independent. If you'd like to join them and see your name listed here, just follow the links below. There are a range of different tiers you can sign up for, from as little as $1 a month, or if you pay yearly, just over $10 a year. A massive welcome to our newest supporters: Carol Bulawa, Rolfondo,
Michael Owen, Winter, and Wilton Live. To join the list and get your shout out, become a paid Patreon member for your week of fame. And of course, if you'd like to support us with a one-off donation, you'll find links below to make Ko-fi and Bitcoin donations. We even have a good old-fashioned P.O. box that you can reach us at. Address you'll find linked below. And of course, if you're in need of some swag, you'll find our swag store in the down below as well. This month, we are celebrating Pride with an amazing new t-shirt design by our in-house artist and animator Erin. You can get yours today by heading to our Redbubble store. We've also got some fantastic content coming up, so make sure that you've hit the subscribe button on either PeerTube or YouTube, and we'll see you soon. We make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you want more, the mighty algorithm thinks you'll like this video, but we think this one is also well worth a look. See you soon, and as always, keep evolving.